All right, so for number 1, it says express the missing divisor using the power of 10. Explain your reasoning using a place value model. Okay, so you should have drawn a place value model. Ideally, you would label tens, ones, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Okay. And then you'll put the first number that you have, and then you want to insert the answer so that we can figure out how many places it has shifted by. So if the decimal's here, that means the answer is 0.549. And then you want to count how many places they have, the numbers have shifted. So 1, 2. Right, it's shifted to the right by 2 places, so we're dividing by what? 10 to the second power, right? 10 squared, 10 to the power of 2. Don't forget that when it asks for an exponent or using a power of 10, you need to use that. Next one, same thing. You start with 6,321. You end up with 632.1. So we've only shifted 1 place. So we're dividing by what? 10. Do we need to put 10 to the first? No, because it's the same thing as 10. Okay, make sure that you're labeling. You've got thousandths, thousands, hundreds. All right, next one, estimate the quotient by rounding the expression to relate to a 1-digit fact. So this is where we're looking for a basic fact. Explain your thinking in the space below. Make sure that's zoomed in. Okay, so we need to look for some numbers that are close to 57 or 7. So what do we think? Yeah,
for the A, I did 560 divided by 70.
Okay, so what would the basic fact be?
56 divided by 7.
56 divided by 7. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay, so if this is close to 56, so then it would be 560, right, divided by 70. Okay, if we divide, we can cancel out our zeros. And then 56 divided by 7 is 8. Okay, explain your thinking in the space below. Your explanation should talk about finding a basic fact that's as close to the original problem as possible. And it should divide evenly. You should be able to divide it in your head. Okay. All right, next one, we have 1,649 divided by 829. So you want to look at probably the first 2 numbers. First number, let me see. 1,600 divided by 800. And then we can cancel out 2 zeros on each side, which gives us 16 divided by 8, which is 2. Okay, any questions there? All right, let's go to the next page. Okay, so this is one of those tricky ones where you have to find a division problem that has the same answer of 4 remainder 8. So how do we do this? How do we do this, Demo?
So first I picked a number and I picked 37.
Okay.
And then I multiplied it by 4. So 37.
Now, why did you choose 37?
Because like you can just choose any number and then.
Any number? Can I choose 50?
Yes. Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes. No. Because that's higher than 44.
What about,
You're supposed to create its own division.
could I choose what's the rule around this? Anyone remember? Ashvin, do you know? Brooke?
So you have to multiply your thing by 4, and then when you're writing the thing that's under the you have to add the remainder.
Okay, so we need to take a number, multiply it by 4, and then add the remainder, okay, which will be 8, okay? And then the number that we get here will give us the dividend, which will be here. But there is some kind of rule surrounding like how big this number can be. Because this number, 37, would be what? Which part of the equation? The divisor. Okay. So could I choose a divisor of 6?
No.
Why? So I could do 50, but I can't do 6. Why can't I do 6? Or 7? Or 5? Or 2? Aria?
Because they're all smaller than the divisor on the other side, 9. So like if it's lower than 9, it won't be like enough. If it's higher, then it'll be fine.
Okay, so this number must be greater than the remainder, okay? If it's smaller, then it's not gonna work out, okay? So Zemo chose 37 times 4, 4 times 7, 28, 2, 14. Okay, so we have our 148. We're gonna add the remainder. 156, is that what you got? Okay, so we've done this kind of like multiply to check type of thing. So now where do we place numbers? So the 156 goes
Under the roof.
in the house?
Yeah, in the house.
In the house. All right, 156 in the
And
house.
37 outside the house.
And then 37, so 156 is our dividend, 37 is our divisor, and then we could
Now it's 148.
try to multiply 37 times 4.
148.
We already know is 148. Subtract, leaves us with 8, which gives us a remainder of 8. Okay.
Wait, we have to explain this one.
Explain your strategy for creating the new problem. So your explanation needs to include something like you need to choose a number that is greater than the remainder, multiply it by the quotient. I'm going to write this out. Write this down. All right, choose a number that is greater than the remainder. All right, 2, multiply by the quotient. Thank you. 3, all right, and then the answer becomes what's the name of that number? The answer becomes the dividend, and then the number is the okay. Questions? Pranav. Yeah, so if you didn't do 37, that's okay. If you chose a different number, that's fine. It could be pretty much anything between 9 and what?
A million.
Anything, pretty much. Yeah.
We don't even do 9 between 9 and infinite.
All right. Next question. Megan says that 25 divided by 4 equals 13 divided by 2 because both are 6 remainder 1. Show her mistake using decimal division. All right. So, what do we know about remainders versus like remainder type of division versus decimal division? What do we know, Raja? Decimal division, there's no remainder. It's more
More numbers.
precise or exact, right? So yeah, if we use division with remainders, sure, it'll be 6 remainder 1, but we need to do decimal division to see if they're really exactly the same. So you just need to do 25 divided by 4, and then you need to do 13 divided by 2. 4 into 25, 6. Remainder 1, but we're not doing remainder. We're gonna add our decimal in the house and on top of the house. Add our 0, bring it down. Now 4 into 10, 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract, we get a 2. Add a 0, bring it down. 5, 20. All right, cool. So do we keep going? No. Once we have a 0, we don't need to add anymore. Okay, 2 into 13, 6 gives us 12. Subtract gives us 1. Extend the house. Add your decimal. Put your decimal on top of the house. Add a 0. Bring it down. 5. Multiply. Subtract. 5 times 2.
I think you said 2 times 7.
5 times 2 is 10. Subtract, you get a 0. So, are these problems equivalent or equal? No. Because with decimal division, 25 divided by 4 is 6.25. 13 divided by 2 is 6.5. Okay, and you're showing the mistake by using decimal division. Any questions here? Okay. All right. Number 5, a rectangular playground has an area of 1,848 square meters. Okay. So the area is 1,848 meters squared. If the width of the rectangle is 33 meters, find the length. Okay, and before, remember, if we put these in simpler numbers, so if the area is 45 and the width is 5, we need to find the length. How would we do that? Navia? Yeah, so the length would be 45 divided by 5. So it's the same thing here. So what do we need to do here to find the length? Zima?
1,848 divided by 33.
Yeah, 1,848 divided by 33. So 33 into 184. 5? 6? All right, 5. What's 5 times 33? 165. All right, subtract 14. So it gives us a remainder of 19. Bring down the 8. 6. 6 times 33? 198. Ooh. All right, so anything else? No. So then the length equals 56 meters. No, just the length. Yeah. And then we can multiply to check. So we want to do 56 times 33. 18, 1, 6, 1, 0, 8, 8, 4, 1, 8, 1, 8, 4, 8. All right, and then we are going to box our answer. Questions on that? Yes, Pranav? Okay, the question was, do you have to check on the test? Not exactly. However, I would highly recommend you do that so that you can double check to make sure that you divided properly. Okay. All right. Number 6, a baker uses 4.5 pounds of flour daily. Move this so we can see it. How many ounces of flour will he use in 1 week? So we've got, first they're talking pounds, then they've decided to switch over to ounces, and we cannot mix those. We need to convert and use one. So use words, numbers, or pictures to explain your thinking. All right, what could we do first? What could we do? There's a couple of ways we could solve this problem. Ashvin, what do you think? We could convert 4.5 pounds to ounces. We could do that. What's another way we could do this? Enough? Say it again. Oh, 4.5 times 7. I'm going to do it over here. 4.5 times 7. So that will give us the number of pounds that we use, that the baker uses in a week. And then we would what? Then we would convert. So here we're converting first, then multiplying for a week. Here we're multiplying, then converting. Okay, so remember that process. So this would be 4.5 times 1 pound, right? And then 4.5 times 1 pound is how many ounces? 16. And then we would do 16 times 4.5, or you could do it the other way around, doesn't matter. 38, 24, 2, 6, 720, 720 ounces per week. Did I do that right? No.
Yeah. No.
Oh, no, we still need to, that's per day. Per day. So now we need to do 720,
Wait, there's a decimal.
72, thank you, add in the decimal, hello. All right, 72, I was thinking 720 ounces sounds like a lot, right? 72 ounces per day times 7 days in a week, 504 ounces per week. Perfect. Now if we do it the other way around, you could do how many pounds in a week and then convert that to ounces. So 35, 28, 31, add in the decimal. So 31.5 pounds per week. Then we need to do 31.5 pounds to ounces. So then that would be 31.5 times 1 pound, and then 31.5 times 16. And then we need to do the math. I'll do it up here. 31.5 times 16, 33,981. 0, 4, 1, 0, 1. 504 ounces per week. Okay, so either way could work. Question, Aria.
When I did 4.5
Mm-hmm.
16, instead I got 270 and 45, 450, but then I put the decimals in and it gave me 72. I just did it a different way.
Oh, did you do 4.5 on top?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, you'll get different partial products, but once you add them together, it should give you the same answer. That's fine. Yeah, you could do it in any order. Do you have to convert? Yes, because you cannot, you can't multiply pounds and ounces because they're not the same. That would be like multiplying inches and feet. You have to get the same unit either first or after, okay? So yes, you definitely need to convert. Okay. Any other questions on that one? All right. The baker's recipe for a loaf of bread calls for 6 ounces of flour. If he uses all of his flour to make loaves of bread, how many full loaves can he bake in 2 weeks? Okay, so a loaf of bread is 6 ounces of flour. So what do we need to do? So it says, how many loaves can he bake in 2 weeks? So we've got a few things here that we need to keep an eye on here. Shreya?
First I added 4
Okay. So we want to see how much flour he'll use in 2 weeks. So 1,008 ounces per 2 weeks. Okay. Now what do we need to do? Each loaf is 6 ounces. Akshat?
1,008 divided by 6.
Okay, 1,008 divided by 6, right? 6 ounces. For each loaf will tell us how many loaves of bread. So then we divide 6 into 10 is 1. Subtract, bring down the 0, 6 into 40. 6, 36, subtract, bring down the 8, 6 into 48, 8. All right, so how many full loaves? Oh, that was a nice even number. Okay, you can do your statement. Make in 2 weeks. Did I make a mistake? Oh, yes, Seema.
I did it a different way, so I did 504 divided by 6, which is 800.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, so you could divide first to tell us how many loaves he'll make in 1 week, and then you multiplied it by 2 for 2 weeks. So yeah, we could do that. 8, 48, 24, so 86.
84.
What? Oh, sorry. 84, thank you. What would I do without you? Loaves per week. And then if it's 2 weeks, then you're gonna do 84 times 2, 168 loaves. Yeah, so either way it'll work.
You have to write a statement.
Sorry?
You have to write a statement.
For the test, I would highly encourage writing a statement. Okay. Any questions on this? Okay. Next page, the baker sends all of his bread to one store. He can pack up to 12 loaves of bread in a box for shipping. So what's the minimum number of boxes required to ship all of the loaves baked in 1 week? There should not be an S on the end there. In 1 week. So actually the second way here, the 504 divided by 6 gives us 1 week. So that's 84 loaves. So if we know there's 84 loaves per week, how do we figure out how many boxes are required? Ashwin? Did you say 84 divided by 12? Okay, good. Thank you. 12 and 84, anybody? 7? 12 times 7? So it's exactly 7 boxes. What if this had a remainder? Then how many boxes would we need? We would need 8 boxes, right? You can't just like have 7 full boxes and then like a loaf of bread on top, right? So you need to fit everything in a box. All right, the baker pays 75 cents per pound for sugar and $1.10 per pound for butter. Write an expression that shows how much the baker will spend if he buys 7 pounds of butter and 15 pounds of sugar. Do we need to solve this right now? No, we just need to write an expression. So sugar is how many pounds? Are we reading this correctly?
0.75. 75 cents. 75
How many pounds of sugar is he gonna buy? 15. Okay, please note, right? First it says 75 cents per pound for sugar and $1.10 per pound for butter. But then the next sentence lists it in a different order, right? It talked about butter first, then sugar. So it's very important that you pay attention to that. Okay, so we have 15 pounds times 75 hundredths, right? That's for sugar. Then what? What do we need to do? What do we add, subtract, multiply, divide? Add, okay. What goes in the next set of parentheses here? Sydney?
110 times 7.
Yeah, I'm gonna just keep with this. It could be in any order, but 110. Okay, this could be 75 hundredths times 15. It doesn't really matter the order. Okay, so there's your expression. And then for E, you don't have a question, do you? You're just starting it, just making sure. Okay, chocolate sprinkles cost as much per pound as sugar, which is how much? 75 cents. Okay, so we want to just note that. Find 1/10 of the baker's total cost for 50 pounds of chocolate sprinkles. Okay. Explain the number of zeros and the placement of the decimal in your answer using the famous and favorite and most loved place value chart. I knew you felt the same way. I knew it. Okay, so 75 cents per pound and then 1/10 the total cost. There's a couple of ways we could solve this. What's one way we could solve this? If we're finding 1/10 of something, how can we solve that? Zemo?
The number divided by 10.
Yeah, so it's basically divided by 10. Now, for 50 pounds, we need to figure out how much it's gonna cost for 50 pounds. How can we do this? There's a couple of ways. Ashvin? Okay, so we can do, well, 0.75 times 50, we go to 0, 5, 2, and then add the decimal back in, so 37.50 for sprinkles, right? For 50 pounds. All right, then what? We're looking for 1/10 of the cost. So we could add in our 37.50 here. And if we're finding 1/10, what do we have to do, Navia? Divide by 10. And if we're dividing by 10, which direction are we going? To the right. By how many columns? Yeah, so we want to divide this by 10, and then we're going to go 1 column over. We're shifting all the numbers. So 1/10 of the cost for 50 pounds would be what? $3.75. The other thing you could do is you could divide 50 by 10, right? Which would give you 5, and then multiply by 75 cents. So you can do that too. Questions? Simo?
For C, do you still have to explain because it says explain the reason?
Oh, explain your reasoning. So let's just say there is a remainder on the test, let's just say. Then you would have to explain why you chose the number that you chose. Okay?
Wait, so how did you get 7.50?
So this would be 75 cents times 50 pounds. So that would be the cost. $37.50 is the cost of sprinkles for 50 pounds. Okay, then it's asking for 1/10 of that, so that's why we divide it by 10. Absolutely.